So Apple just surprised everybody and announced the 2018 MacBook Pros just yesterday, and today in my hands I have the 13-inch MacBook Pro 2018 with the quad-core processor. So let's go ahead and compare how the CPU performs, check out some of the features that it offers, and compare it to my 15-inch MacBook Pro. So on the exterior, not much has actually changed. The only difference that you can see and maybe feel is going to be the keyboard. This is the 3rd generation butterfly keys. Let's get rid of that thing. And they're supposed to be quieter than the 2nd generation that came on the previous MacBook Pros. So let's go ahead and take a little test and see if we can feel a difference. Yeah, they still have that same kind of tactile feel where they kind of punch back and they take a little bit of effort to push down, but they're definitely quieter. Actually, Vadim, can you get me my MacBook Pro? Thank you. Let's test these guys out side by side so you can really tell the difference. So here I kind of have a muffled sound. And yeah, these are definitely a lot louder. Maybe you guys can hear the difference. Now, if you start typing really fast on this new MacBook Pro, they still make quite a bit of noise. But if you're trying to type quietly, you can get that done. Or this, even if you type slowly, you still hear it quite a bit. We're not really sure if there's any changes from a reliability standpoint. Apple has been pretty quiet about that, so we'll have to see as time goes on. Now, as you can see, this model does have the touch bar, which we do think is kind of a gimmick, but we also have Touch ID here, which is convenient to log in and to use for Apple Pay. And this also has the T2 chip that was introduced and first put into a Mac with the iMac Pro, and that takes some of the system controllers and puts it into that chip so we're not loading up like the CPU, and enables a few things like Hey Siri with your voice. So let's test it out. Hey Siri. Hey Siri, open the Documents folder. So now that we got it set up and we're here on the desktop, let's see what Siri can do. Hey Siri, what's the weather tomorrow?
It should be hot and sunny tomorrow, with a high of 89 degrees.
Hey Siri, open appleinsider.com. Not bad. To make it even better, macOS Mojave is bringing the Home app to your Mac, so you'll be able to use Hey Siri to control all of your HomeKit-enabled devices. The next thing we should talk about is True Tone. Just like with the iPad Pros and the iPhones, they're now adding this into the Macs. Let's go ahead and check this out. And what True Tone is going to do is going to match the white balance of your display to match your environment and make it look more natural. And as you can see, we have a toggle right here for True Tone, and if I disable it, my screen gets a lot more daylight balance, or a lot more blue looking, and it's just a standard way that displays work. And if I enable it, it starts to warm up and matches our room here with our fluorescent lights. So now let's get to what all of you guys have been waiting for, and that is CPU performance. Like I already mentioned, this is the first MacBook Pro 13-inch that has a quad-core processor, so we're all excited about it. We've been waiting for a while, especially those that want a small package with lots of punch. And we're gonna go ahead and test out Geekbench 4, and we're gonna compare it to the one that hasn't been changed, the non-touch bar model, and my 15-inch 2016 spec'd out with the best CPU available then, MacBook Pro right here. Wow, so our results are insane here. If we're getting a 4,602 single core score and a 16,699 score for multi-core, that is massive. Incredible. The previous touch bar model from 2017 did about the same as this non-touch bar model, 4524 single core and only 9,484 multi-core. So that's a huge improvement. In my MacBook Pro here, the 15-inch, which I paid extra for the best processor available, custom ordered it, got a 4360 single and 11,979 multi-core score. So the base model, least expensive new touch bar Mac is beating out the most expensive Mac you can get in 2016, the MacBook Pro. And actually this number is slightly higher in multi-core on this base touch bar 13-inch than the best available MacBook Pro ever, and that was last year's model if you custom ordered and bought that 3.1 gigahertz quad-core i7. So This is shocking, and this is massive improvements in performance. Of course, this is just one benchmark, so we're gonna test out some more benchmarks. We're gonna test out video editing, we're gonna test out thermal throttling, and we're actually gonna connect this guy to that new external GPU and see possibly if you're not going to be using the integrated graphics, if you're going to use external GPU, this might be a great option to perform better than any previous larger size, more powerful MacBook Pro. Speaking of graphics, the new MacBook Pro with Touch Bar got 32831 with the OpenCL, and it has been updated to the Iris Plus 655 over the 650 in the previous model. The base non-Touch Bar model has 640 graphics, and that scored 30,944, so really not much of a difference. And with our MacBook Pro, we do have a dedicated graphics card, and the best one that was available, and that one got 48,081. So like I mentioned, we're going to be doing a lot more testing and comparisons, so make sure you guys hit that subscribe button and enable those notifications so you guys don't miss out. So with a CPU this powerful, it is going to be drawing more battery, and Apple actually increased the battery size by 18% over last year's 2017 Touch Bar model, so we're expecting it to about even out. We also wanted to test out the CPU speed, so we're using Blackmagic's disk speed test, and we're seeing performance on par with last year's 256 gig SSDs. Of course, if you bought a base model with 128 gig SSD, that performs quite a bit worse, especially with write speeds. So Apple did talk about the speakers, so here Vadim, grab this MacBook Pro and let's compare these two side by side and see if there's any differences. Yeah, that does sound like it has more bass. Yeah, to me, it sounds more full, both in the mids and the bass. The highs are about the same, loudness is about the same, but this does sound nicer and just more rich. And honestly, I wasn't expecting to hear that much of a difference, so that's good. So now it's confirmed that the speakers are definitely better. They're not louder, but they're a lot more rich, and that is great and surprising because the MacBook Pro already had some of the best speakers on the market. Now, alongside the new MacBook Pro, there was actually a surprise announcement of this guy right here. This is Blackmagic's external GPU that they developed with Apple. So this is going to give a big boost in graphics performance, and it can connect to your MacBook Pro with a single Thunderbolt cable. Now, what is even more special about this thing? It is the only external GPU that supports Thunderbolt Displays. All of the other eGPUs on the market only allow you to put out HDMI or DisplayPort. So if you are in a situation like I am, where you have a 5K LG monitor, or maybe the 4K Ultrafine, or even the Cinema display, a Thunderbolt monitor, you have not been able to use external graphics. And I actually thought that I'm going to get rid of my LG 5K so I can use an eGPU with my MacBook Pro, but now I don't have to. So we are going to be putting out a video on this guy very soon. Make sure you guys have those notifications enabled so you guys do not miss out on that. And along with this and the MacBook Pros, we're going to be doing a ton of testing, and we're going to be putting out a full detailed review. So if you guys have any questions, make sure to comment down below, and we're definitely going to be checking those out. Thank you guys for watching our hands-on with the new MacBook Pro. This has been Max, and I will see you in the next video. If you enjoyed this video, like it and hit that subscribe button. Also, check out our price guide, which makes it extremely easy to find the best deals on Apple products updated daily. Be sure to follow us on social media, and we'll see you in the next video.